for a Little Red Riding Hood adventure like you've never seen before.
Once upon a time, in a charming little village nestled beside a beautiful forest, there lived a sweet and cheerful girl named Ruby. Ruby loved to explore and play, but her favorite thing to wear was a bright red cloak with a hood. It was a special gift from her dear grandmother, who had lovingly sewn it just for her. Because of this special cloak, everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. One sunny morning, Ruby was in the kitchen of her cozy little cottage. She held a beautiful woven basket filled with all sorts of delicious goodies. Her mother, a kind and loving woman with a gentle smile, placed a warm loaf of bread into the basket. "You're going to visit your grandmother," she explained. "She's not feeling well, and I know these treats will brighten her day." Ruby's face lit up with joy. "Grandma's house," she exclaimed. "I love visiting Grandma. I'll make sure she gets this basket right away." Her mother smiled and looked at her gently. "Now remember, Ruby," she said, her voice filled with love and concern. "It's important to stay on the path through the woods. And remember, don't talk to any strangers you might meet along the way. Can you promise me that?" Ruby nodded solemnly, her big eyes full of determination. "I promise, Mama," she said. "I'll be very careful." After a warm hug and a kiss goodbye, Ruby set off on her journey. She skipped down the village path, her little red cloak billowing behind her like a cheerful flag. The sun shone brightly, and the birds sang a happy tune as Ruby made her way towards the forest. Ruby skipped along the cobblestone streets, her little red cloak bouncing with each step. The village was bustling with friendly faces and exciting sights. As Ruby passed by the village square, she noticed a beautiful garden filled with colorful flowers. The air was filled with the sweet scent of roses, and a sparkling fountain danced in the sunlight. Ruby took a deep breath, enjoying the delightful aroma. She couldn't wait to share all the wonderful sights and smells of the village with her grandma. With a spring in her step and a happy tune on her lips, Ruby continued down the path, leaving the village behind as she ventured towards the green forest that lay ahead. The path wound its way into the woods, and Ruby felt a sense of excitement. The trees stood tall and majestic, their branches forming a leafy canopy overhead. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating a dappled pattern on the forest floor. Birds chirped, squirrels scampered, a wise old owl perched on a branch, and butterflies fluttered. Ruby skipped along, her eyes wide with wonder as she explored the forest's hidden treasures. Suddenly, a patch of wildflowers caught Ruby's eye. They were so beautiful, with their delicate petals and vibrant colors. Ruby couldn't resist their charm. She carefully stepped off the path and into the soft moss to pick a few wildflowers for her basket, hoping to surprise Grandma with their beauty. Little did Ruby know a playful wolf named Wolfgang had been watching her from the trees. Wolfgang was a bit mischievous and loved to play tricks. As Ruby walked along, Wolfgang popped out from behind a bush, startling her with his big, friendly smile. He looked a little hungry, but Ruby remembered her mom's warning and decided to be cautious. "Well, hello there, little one," Wolfgang said cheerfully. "Where are you off to?" Ruby remembered her mom's advice, but thought Wolfgang seemed nice enough. Ruby took a step back, but decided to be polite. "I'm going to visit my grandmother," she replied. "She lives in a cozy cottage at the end of this path." As they walked together, Wolfgang couldn't help but bounce around excitedly. He loved making new friends and having fun. Wolfgang walked beside Ruby, asking her questions about her grandmother and the treats in her basket. "You know, little girl," Wolfgang said with a sly grin, "your basket looks very delicious. A big wolf like me could really use a snack." Ruby's heart pounded. She realized that Wolfgang might not be as friendly as he seemed. Ruby shook her head. "Oh no, silly wolf, I have to deliver this basket to my grandma. She's not feeling well and needs these goodies to cheer her up." Wolfgang pretended to be sad, but he was secretly planning a little trick to surprise Ruby. "Hey, Red, let's play a game of tag," Wolfgang exclaimed, his tail wagging playfully. "You run, and I'll chase you. It'll be so much fun." Ruby nodded, starting to feel a little uneasy. Wolfgang's playful demeanor was starting to change. "Well then," Wolfgang said with a sly grin, "I'll race you there. Last one to Grandma's house is a rotten egg." Ruby, not wanting to lose the race, started running, her red cloak billowing behind her. She was determined to get to Grandma's house first. Wolfgang also took off running down the path, chasing after her, his long legs carrying him swiftly through the trees. Ruby and Wolfgang raced through the forest, and just as the wolf was about to catch up, suddenly a loud roar echoed through the forest. Ruby and Wolfgang stopped in their tracks, their eyes wide with surprise. "Wait a minute, Red," he said, panting. "I think I hear something." Ruby listened closely, and sure enough, she could hear a loud rumbling sound coming from behind them. "What is it?" she asked, her heart pounding. Wolfgang's eyes widened. "Uh-oh," he muttered. "It sounds like thunder." Ruby called out, "I better hurry to Grandma's house before the rain starts." Another even louder roar sounded, echoing through the trees. Wolfgang, a bit scared of loud noises, thought a big creature was coming and quickly ran away to hide. Ruby felt relieved and giggled at the silly wolf's antics. She knew she had to be more careful and stay on the path to get to her grandma's house safely. As Ruby continued on the path, she heard a gentle voice calling her name. "Ruby, dear," it said, "don't worry, you're safe now." Ruby looked around, but she didn't see anyone. The voice seemed to come from the trees themselves. She followed the sound and found herself surrounded by a group of tall, ancient trees. One of the trees, with branches that looked like wise old arms, spoke to her. "We are the talking trees of this forest, Ruby," it said. "We saw what happened with that silly wolf, and we made that loud roaring sound to scare him away." Ruby was amazed. Talking trees. She had never seen anything like it before. "But why did you help me?" she asked. The tree smiled. "We protect everyone in this forest, Ruby," it said. "Everyone deserves to be safe and happy." Ruby felt grateful for the tree's kindness. She thanked them for their help and promised to be more careful from now on. Meanwhile, Wolfgang the wolf was still not finished. He remembered Grandma's cottage and decided to take a shortcut to Grandma's house, hoping to find something to eat there. When Wolfgang reached the cottage, he decided to play a little trick. He knocked on the door and called out in a sweet voice, just like Ruby. "Grandma, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I brought you some goodies." Grandma opened the door, expecting to see her sweet granddaughter. But when she saw Wolfgang instead, she gasped in surprise. Wolfgang quickly explained that he was just playing a game of pretend and asked if he could come inside for a bit. Grandma, being a kind and trusting soul, agreed. She invited Wolfgang in, and he quickly convinced Grandma to play a game of hide-and-seek. Wolfgang gently guided Grandma towards a nearby cupboard. "Here's a good hiding spot, Grandma," he said, closing the cupboard door before she could react. "Don't worry, I'll find you soon." With a mischievous grin, Wolfgang put on Grandma's nightgown and cap, trying to look like her. He knew it was a bit naughty, but he couldn't resist the urge to play a little trick on Ruby when she arrived. A short while later, Ruby arrived at Grandma's cozy cottage, her basket filled with goodies swinging by her side. She noticed the door was open a crack, which was unusual. "Grandma!" Ruby called out. "It's me, Ruby!" A voice from the bedroom replied, "Come in, my dear." Ruby opened the door wider and stepped inside. As she walked into the bedroom, she saw a figure in Grandma's bed, all bundled up in the covers. Right away, Ruby recognized the pointy ears and big nose peeking out from under the blanket. It was Wolfgang the wolf. Ruby was a little scared, but she quickly thought of a clever plan. She would pretend not to know it was Wolfgang and see what he was up to. "Grandma," Ruby said sweetly, "it's so good to see you. I brought you some yummy treats." Wolfgang, still pretending to be Grandma, chuckled. "Come closer, my dear," he said in a raspy voice. "Let me get a good look at you." Ruby slowly approached the bed, her eyes twinkling with amusement. She knew exactly who was under the covers, but she wanted to play along and see what kind of mischief Wolfgang was up to. "Grandma," Ruby said, her voice full of wonder. "What big ears you have!" Wolfgang, trying to sound like Grandma, replied, "All the better to hear you with, my dear." Ruby giggled. "And Grandma, what big eyes you have?" Wolfgang chuckled. "All the better to see you with, my dear." Ruby took another step closer, a mischievous smile on her face. "But Grandma," she said, her voice barely a whisper, "what big teeth you have." Wolfgang couldn't help but grin, forgetting his disguise for a moment. "All the better to," he started to say, but then he stopped himself, realizing he had almost given away his secret. Wolfgang couldn't contain his excitement any longer. He threw off the covers, revealing his furry face and wagging tail. "Gotcha!" he exclaimed, his voice booming through the room. "I'm not your grandma, silly goose! It's me, Wolfgang!" Ruby pretended to be surprised, although she knew it was him all along. "Oh my goodness!" she cried out, putting a hand over her mouth. "You tricked me! I thought you were my grandma!" Just then, the cottage door swung open and in rushed Ruby's dad, the woodcutter, looking worried. He had heard the commotion from outside and feared something was wrong. Seeing a wolf in his mother-in-law's bed, he assumed the worst. "Get away from my daughter!" he shouted, brandishing his axe. "I'll teach you to frighten innocent children!" Wolfgang, startled by the woodcutter's sudden appearance and angry tone, cowered back against the wall. "Wait!" Ruby cried out. "Papa, it's not what it looks like! Wolfgang was just playing a game. He didn't mean any harm." The woodcutter paused, lowering his axe. "A game?" he asked, confused. Ruby explained how Wolfgang had playfully pretended to be Grandma and how they were just having fun. The woodcutter listened carefully, his eyes softening as he realized his mistake. Suddenly, Ruby's eyes widened. "But where's Grandma?" she asked, her voice filled with worry. "She was supposed to be in bed." I might have asked her to hide in the cupboard as part of our game," Wolfgang mumbled sheepishly. The woodcutter rushed over to the cupboard and opened it. There was Grandma, safe and sound, but a bit flustered. "Oh, my dear," Grandma said, stepping out of the cupboard. "What a silly game that was." Ruby rushed to her grandmother's side and hugged her, happy to find her safe and sound. Wolfgang, feeling a bit ashamed, apologized to everyone. "I didn't mean to scare anyone," he said sincerely. "I just wanted to play a little trick." The woodcutter smiled, turning to the wolf. "No harm done," he said. "Just remember, not everyone will understand your playful tricks, so be careful who you play with." Wolfgang, with his tail between his legs, thanked the woodcutter for his kindness and quickly scampered out of the cottage. The woodcutter turned to Ruby and gave her a warm hug. "You were very brave, my dear," he said. "But remember, not all strangers are as friendly as Wolfgang. Always be careful and trust your instincts." Ruby nodded, taking her father's advice to heart. She learned a valuable lesson that day. While it's good to be friendly and playful, it's also important to be cautious of strangers and new surroundings. Together, they returned to Ruby's home where her mother had been anxiously waiting. When she saw Ruby safe and sound, tears of joy streamed down her face. She embraced her and held her tight. The story of Little Red Riding Hood quickly spread throughout the village, becoming a beloved tale told and retold. It taught children to be cautious of strangers, to listen to their parents' warnings, and to never venture into the woods alone. But most of all, it inspired them to be brave just like Ruby. She had faced danger not once, but twice, and emerged victorious. Wasn't that a fun adventure with Ruby and Wolfgang? Remember, always listen to your parents and be careful when you're exploring. If you liked this video, there's so much more to discover on Learn with TD. Join us for alphabet adventures, sing-along songs, exciting experiments, and more amazing stories. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a big thumbs up. See you next time. Little learners.